Now, the DMV, how horrible was it going to the DMV in the past? What was it like for you going to
Oh
DMV?
God, I don't know. I had to have like 6, 9 references of who I was.
DNA, fingerprints,
Gotta take your
hair
vital
sample.
signs, yeah, and all that. It was just a lot. And if you didn't have it, you gotta go back home, get it. Yeah, it was a process going from one teller, staying in one line to get one thing done, then going to another line and waiting for another 20, 30 minutes to get that thing done. Then you got to wait in line to get your picture taken. And then if you smile too much, they want to retake the picture
Did
because
they?
you're showing too much teeth.
Did they
Yes.
do?
They
I don't
say
remember
don't
that.
smile that big.
I don't remember that. You cheese it too much. Just your regular smile, ma'am. Regular smile. We don't need all that cheesing.
Said don't smile so big. I'm
They
like,
are taking
what am I
using them
supposed
old
to
school
do?
cameras.
I'm not supposed to show teeth or something like that, or barely show your teeth. Yes, I had to take it a few times.
That's
So
true. And you know, even when you had
it was
a
just a
goofy picture, they wouldn't let you take it
process.
again. Like when you get the goofy picture, they wouldn't let you redo it back then.
Like your eyes half
I,
closed.
this is fine. That'll be fine. Now, why do I bring up the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles? Why do I bring it up? I bring it up because it's just an example. I'm not saying that this is all of government, but just an example. DMV is paid for by the state government. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But that's my understanding. So the DMV is a good example because the DMV for a long time was completely inefficient. Completely. It was a place, like you said, you stood in one line to show your identification, another line to fill out the information for your document, another line to do a picture. I mean, you would be in there for hours, 4 hours, five. I mean, I'm not playing. You'd be in there for hours. If you got in the DMV and were out in 2 hours, you were lucky. Most of the time, you was there a long time. My God. So, point being is that you would go in there, you'd have workers who were working very slow, very inefficient, most of the time had nasty attitudes. And I'm talking about different DMVs. I've been in DMVs all throughout Illinois. I've been through ones in New Jersey. Same nasty attitudes in different states. It doesn't change. Why? Because they barely could get fired. There was no look of any level of efficiency. So there was no consequences of being inefficient, right?
Hmm.
None. So you go through all this stuff, you're in all these lines. They would have lines wrapping out the door, especially on Saturdays. And if you weren't inside the door at a certain time, go back home, come back next week. Thank you. So they, or if you were missing one little piece of information, or if something was unclear, they were always nasty. Well, you don't got it next. So, but now what has changed? So they decided to modernize it. There's many states that decide to modify or modernize the DMV, right? So one of the things that was happening with the DMV, antiquated computer systems of record keeping, right? What did they decide to do? They updated a lot of their digital systems. They updated renewals so you could renew online. You could get your plates online, things that you had to do physically. Not to mention, most people had to take off of work if they couldn't go on a Saturday
Hmm.
because Saturday was just too crazy.
Hmm.
So this is something that should have been done a long time ago. And there was a public demand for things like digital services to meet the services of people. Now, mind you, these DMV workers that used to be in there, they would act like they were paying you.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, your state taxes were paying them, and they was treating you like something crazy. So, why I say all that? It's just an example of one agency, at least on a state level, that needed to be more efficient
Hmm.
as far as the data and the service to the public.
Hmm.
So, my point is when you parallel that to some agencies in the government, there are probably some antiquated systems, and that's why I think Musk went in there with these young digital um, technical geniuses, if they are, you know,
Hmm.
or technical, um, wherewithal youngsters who know how to help to
Hmm.
get this thing going, because that's where everything is. Technology.
Yeah.
Technology makes all these things better. So efficiency isn't just cutting jobs per se, but it's also about updating systems that are antiquated and old.
Absolutely.
So
And at the end of the day, when you update the systems and you computerize things, some people are going to lose their jobs. And it's just like I said, when you combine someone who's doing 3 separate jobs that can be done by one person. That's one way of making things work more efficiently. I think efficiency should be on all levels of government. It should be the state, local, and federal, because we're all paying into that.
100%.
It's our money. So yeah, things
100%.
need to be fine-lined
100%.
so that we can have the budget that we need in order for things to happen on a local level too.
Yeah. I mean,
You
that's
know,
what it is.
schools, budgets, people getting paid, teachers getting paid.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
the more people kind of,
gotta
pay
cut
attention to that and start to cut the fat where it's needed, the more
and
you
get rid of fraud.
especially get rid of fraud.
Especially
And
get rid of
we talked earlier about all the people retroactively, not even retroactively, but people getting arrested for the PPP loans. It is what it is, yo. If I watched the video yesterday about a guy in Texas who did a PPP loan, they came and knocked on his door. I think it happened a couple of weeks ago. So let's say now it's been almost 5 years now. And listen, man, if you took all that money from PPP, you defrauded the government. They're gonna come back and get their bread. So we can't just sit here and say that any attempt to collect or any attempt to make the government more efficient is wrong.